Meet Leo and Alex. Both are 26 years old. Both hold commercial pilot licenses with multi-engine instrument ratings, and both have just logged their 1,500th flight hours. For years, they've lived on tight budgets, working as flight instructors, building airtime hour by hour, and investing over $90,000 each into their flight training. Qualification-wise, they're at the exact same starting line. Personality-wise, they couldn't be more different. Leo wants structure. He likes clear rules, predictable career progression, and knowing where he will be in 20 years. He dreams of wearing major airline stripes, flying massive jets across oceans, and climbing a standardized seniority list where every year guarantees higher pay and better schedules. Alex values immediate rewards and variety. He hates the idea of waiting decades to earn top-tier pay or sitting on a rigid airline roster doing the same repetitive routes every week. He wants to fly sleek business jets, visit private airports, interact directly with clients, and enjoy a dynamic schedule where no 2 weeks look the same. Those two personalities lead to two very different aviation decisions. Leo joins a regional airline. Alex takes a job in corporate aviation. For the next 20 years, we're going to follow them both. Every flight hour, every salary jump, every night away from home, and every hidden operational headache that never appears in flight school brochures. Let me explain. Leo begins his career at a regional airline flying 76-seat regional jets. His starting salary is $55,000 a year. On paper, it sounds reasonable for an entry-level position, but the reality arrives quickly. He's placed on reserve status, meaning he spends days sitting in an airport crash pad waiting to be called on 2 hours' notice. Furthermore, airline pilots are not paid for every hour they're on duty. They're paid strictly in block hours, from the moment the aircraft pushback begins to when the engines shut down at the gate. When Leo suffers a 3-hour ground delay sitting at a departure gate, he isn't earning a single dollar of flight pay. Alex takes a completely different route. He hires on with a corporate flight department flying mid-sized business jets for executives and private owners. His starting salary is $85,000 a year, $30,000 higher than Leo's. He receives a fixed salary regardless of how many hours he flies. His hotels are luxury boutique resorts, his meals are covered by per diems, and he flies directly into high-end resort destinations. On day one, Alex looks like the clear winner. He earns more money, flies sleek aircraft, and enjoys immediate lifestyle perks. Leo is eating cold food in a shared crew lounge waiting for a delayed flight. One career feels prestigious immediately. The other feels like a slow, grind-heavy compromise. But a flight path isn't defined by the takeoff. It's defined by the destination. 3 years pass. Leo upgrades to regional captain. His base pay rises to $95,000 a year. He's logged thousands of hours of flight time in heavy weather, mastered standardized airline procedures, and built 3 years of company seniority. Yet the work remains demanding. He flies 4-segment days, handles constant air traffic delays, and deals with strict flight time limitations. Because he is still relatively junior, he works almost every weekend and holiday. Alex upgrades to corporate captain on a super mid-sized business jet, pushing his salary to $130,000. But over these 3 years, Alex learns the hidden operational realities of corporate aviation. Unlike Leo, who steps onto an aircraft prepared by gate agents and ground crews, Alex is responsible for almost everything. Before every flight, Alex must personally verify ground handling, arrange fuel delivery, order catering, load passenger luggage, and clean the cabin after arrival. Then there is schedule unpredictability. While Leo receives a monthly schedule weeks in advance, Alex's phone can ring at 9 p.m. on a Sunday with an owner demanding a flight to Miami at sunrise. His life is permanently on call. Now let's fast forward to year 7. Leo makes the biggest move of his career. He leaves the regional airline and gets hired by a major legacy airline flying mainline narrow-body jets. But there is a major catch. When an airline pilot switches companies, their seniority resets to 0. Leo goes from a senior captain at his regional back to a bottom-tier first officer at the major. His pay takes a temporary step, settling around $150,000 annually, and he returns to the bottom of the scheduling list. To an outsider, it looks like Leo took a step backward, but in airline aviation, legacy seniority is the ultimate long-term currency. Every month he stays, retiring pilots above him move him to top-tier pay and schedule control. Alex's career at year 7 takes a very different path. He moves into a premier corporate role as chief pilot for a private flight department managing a long-range Gulfstream. His salary climbs to $210,000 a year. He travels globally, stays in 5-star hotels, and flies state-of-the-art aircraft. However, corporate aviation carries a major structural vulnerability: concentration risk. Alex's high salary depends entirely on one company or one wealthy owner. In year 9, an economic downturn hits. Alex's employer decides to sell the aircraft to trim corporate expenses. Overnight, the flight department was dissolved. Alex didn't lose his job because of bad performance. He lost it because a boardroom spreadsheet changed. Because corporate aviation has no central seniority list, Alex must enter the open job market and network from scratch. Meanwhile, during that same economic slump, Leo's airline cuts flights and slows hiring. His pay growth temporarily pauses, but his job remains protected by a union contract. His place on the seniority list remains untouched. Now, let's look at year 10. Leo has been at the major airline for 3 years. He's moved up the seniority ladder into a comfortable first officer position, earning $220,000 annually. He now has enough seniority to secure fixed days off and spend more nights at home. Alex has recovered from his job loss and secured a new position managing a private jet for a charter management firm, earning $190,000. But he lost career momentum during the transition, and his new contract offers fewer benefits than his previous role. After 10 years, their total earnings are surprisingly close. Alex made far more money during his first 6 years, while Leo's earnings accelerated rapidly once he reached the legacy airline. But their day-to-day lives look completely different. Leo's life is governed by rigid union rules and absolute predictability. Alex's life is flexible and high-touch, but shadowed by job uncertainty and unpredictable duty hours. Now let's look at the full 20-year picture. Leo is now 46 years old and holds a senior wide-body captain at his major airline, flying international routes. Thanks to 20 years of accumulated seniority, his annual compensation has reached roughly $430,000 a year. Because his top-tier seniority, Leo works only 12 to 14 days a month. He picks his exact vacation weeks, earns premium per diems, and receives guaranteed retirement contributions. When he steps off the aircraft at the end of a trip, his work is complete. He never answers emails or coordinates catering off-duty. However, Leo's career comes with hard boundaries. Under federal law, airline pilots face a mandatory retirement age of 65. No matter how healthy he feels, his airline career has a fixed expiration date. Alex, at year 20, is a veteran corporate captain flying an ultra-long-range business jet. His salary is $310,000 a year, supplemented by performance bonuses and high-end travel perks. Alex has advantages Leo will never have. He has no mandatory retirement age at 65. As long as he passes his medical checks, he can fly privately well into his late 60s. He flies into exclusive destinations that commercial airliners can never touch, building personal relationships with influential leaders. Yet, even after 20 years, Alex's workload remains high-touch. On a trip to Europe, while his passengers attend meetings, Alex is at the airport managing ground handling, checking weather forecasts, and managing catering orders. When a trip gets extended because an owner's meeting runs long, Alex must adapt immediately. When you compare their total 20-year career outcomes, the math surprises most people. Leo finished with higher total cumulative lifetime earnings, driven by the massive compounding of his final 10 years at a major airline. But he paid for that wealth with 10 years of rigid schedules, crash pads, and total subservience to a seniority list. Alex earned significantly more money in the first half of his career, enjoying immediate luxury, high starting pay, and diverse flight operations. But he paid for that early success with long-term job volatility, uncompensated ground duties, and the absence of a union safety net. So which career path actually wins? Asking whether airline or corporate aviation is better is the wrong question. Leo believed that joining an airline was the only proven path to long-term wealth and stability. Alex believed that corporate aviation offered superior freedom and immediate rewards. Both were right about the benefits, but both had to accept the trade-offs that came with them. Airline aviation is a system built on compounding time. It punishes you early with low control and modest pay, but rewards patience with unmatched long-term earning power, strict work-rest boundaries, and schedule freedom. Corporate aviation is a system built on immediate value and personal adaptability. It rewards you early with higher pay and prestige, but demands continuous personal service, flexibility, and comfort with operational uncertainty. The real decision comes down to two simple questions. First, are you willing to trade initial pay and flexibility for 10 years of grinding up a seniority list that pays off massively at the end?
Or do you prefer higher immediate income and dynamic flight operations, knowing your career stability depends on market conditions rather than a union contract? Because 20 years later, the difference between these two pilots didn't come down to who flew the bigger plane. It came down to which set of trade-offs they were willing to live with every single day. Let me know in the comments, would you choose the structure of the major airlines or the flexibility of the corporate flight deck? See you in the sky.